brother. Can't say I enjoyed it very much. You didn't even bother to question your orders, did you? You just did as you were told. You know what I think? I think you felt guilty. And that's what kept you on the run.
I'm sitting next to Ernest. I'm gonna ask him some questions. For the people that aren't familiar with the Fear franchise, what kind of game is it, and what is the storyline this time?
So Fear 3 really takes what players know and love of the Fear franchise. We've got the frenetic combat as well as the incredible horror elements. But in Fear 3 we add our co-op feature, and so our co-op, we call it Divergent co-op, and the reason why we call it Divergent is because each player, Pointman and Fettel, have truly unique abilities. And so Pointman is a genetic psychic super soldier. He has the ability to slow-mo, basically slow down time, and as well he's got 360 degrees of active cover, which allows him some great new tactical ways to utilize the environment and take out enemies. Fettel, the second co-op player, he's a ghost, and as such he's got paranormal abilities such as a paranormal blast. He can levitate objects and enemies in the world, but the coolest feature about Fettel is that he can possess enemies, and so with that possession mechanic, then Fettel can basically become whoever that enemy is. In terms of the Fear 3 story, the Fear 3 story truly wraps up the story of Fear 1 and 2. It fleshes out that story. It takes place 9 months after the events of Fear 1 and 2. Fear 1 and 2 happen concurrently, basically at the same time. And so 9 months later, here we are in Fear 3, following the story of Pointman and Fettel, and Alma as well. Alma's power is ever growing. At the end of Fear 2, Alma becomes pregnant, and so 9 months later, Alma is about to give birth to something. We don't know what that something is. But Pointman making a return from the first game, he's back, and in the first game, Pointman actually was charged. His orders were to kill his brother. He didn't know at the time it was his brother, but he found out it was his brother, and so he was faced with the challenge. Does he follow his orders and kill his brother, or because his brother is family, does he ignore his orders? He ended up following his orders. He killed his brother. And in Fear 3, Fettel makes a return. He's basically feeding off of Alma's growing power, and Fettel then uses Pointman psychically through their family connection as a conduit to come back into reality as a ghost.
All right. What are the new features in Fear 3?
The great new feature about Fear 3 would have to be our Divergent co-op feature that I already talked about. With each player having truly unique set of abilities. As well, our multiplayer component is brand new and innovative for Fear 3. Something different not only from the Fear franchise, what we've done before, but also with different than most other titles out there.
All right. Fear is a very scary game.
Yes.
How do you implement the scary scenes in co-op?
Sure. Yeah. Well, for starters, co-op is scary just by its very nature because Fettel, he's a psychopath. He's a ghost, and he's along with you, and so he's not a very trustworthy individual. In the first game, he was a cannibal, and basically you were charged to take him out because he was wreaking so much havoc. And so now that's your partner. You never know if you can trust him. But in addition to that, with our generative scare system, it reacts differently depending on how the players are playing. So if you have two players playing through the levels, you'll see a different set of scares than you would if you were just playing as single player.
All right. You can achieve points in the co-op.
Yes.
What can we do with the points? Can we buy new weapons or ammunition, armor?
So Our scoring feature in Fear 3 really is about completing specific challenges. We've got four types of challenges, four main types, I should say. There's aggressive challenges, which really reward you for the amount of kills you have. Say you're running and gunning through a world and just taking out everything in front of you. You'll get a lot of those challenge points. A second type of challenge points are tactical challenges, and with those, that's really how you go about taking out enemies. So if you were to use a lot of headshots, if you were to use active cover, you get more challenge points for that. Next, we have aptitude challenges. Aptitude challenges are all about how do you use your psychic powers in the world? Am I using slow-mo to take out enemies, or is Fetto using possession to take out enemies, or his stun abilities? There's specific challenges tied to your psychic abilities. And then our fourth main type are psychic challenges. And psychic challenges are all about making connections to the Almaverse, and you do that by collectibles that you find in the world, whether it be psychic bodies that you need to link with, or Alma dolls in the world that she's left in the world, sort of for you to find and connect with psychically.
All right. For the multiplayer, do you have any mechs or vehicles in the multiplayer?
There are mechs in our multiplayer, and the great thing about our multiplayer is that we also have paranormal enemies. We also have great things that are known about the Fear universe. We've got possession mechanic, as well as there's this huge Alma wall of death that chases you in one of our modes. So right from the start, we really thought with our multiplayer that we would inject things that are truly unique about the Fear franchise, and things that other titles can't necessarily do, because we're leveraging those things that are unique about the Fear franchise.
All right. When does Fear 3 release, and on which platforms?
Yeah, Fear 3 has a simultaneous release. It's on Xbox 360, PS3, and PC. Slated for May 24th release in North America, and May 27th everywhere else.